I'm going to give you all a heads up that when we do the job of the week, jobs of the week, I'm going to briefly mention another job only because it closes September 30th. We'll go in detail about it on the next show, but I am going to at least mention it on this show to give people a little bit of time to know about it. Oh, welcome, Waji.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great, doing great. Good to
figuring out how to work this thing.
Yeah, so the students have questions prepared for you.
Okay.
I don't anticipate you having any problem answering them.
Probably not.
Okay, yeah, come on, open the door.
You know the password? It won't let, it says I need a password.
Oh, here, let me just send you the same link I just came on with, okay?
Okay, cool.
I'll just send you that. All right. Um, Okay, it's 2:01. So we're gonna wait just 1 second. I know there's one other person that I know is trying to get their link up. So give me another minute, folks, and we'll get running with this.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so welcome everybody. Welcome to the second edition of the CJ Jobs Show. This is the show that we've put together for you in the College of Criminal Justice so that once your time here at Sam Houston is done, you can go out in the world and do what?
Get the job.
Get the job. We want all SHSU graduates to do what, Nika? Turn your mic on.
Sorry.
Yeah, we want you to get the job, And that's what we're going to be focusing on today. As a matter of fact, we're going to be focusing on getting that job. I am Carol Adams Shearer, your host for today. I'm the career specialist for the College of Criminal Justice. And part of my job is to work with you and help you get yourself together academically and non-academically so that you can go out there and competitively compete for those jobs and get them. I'm joined today by two of your peers out of the College of Criminal Justice, and they are.
Hi everyone, I'm Nika Naji. I'm a senior at Sam Houston, majoring in criminal justice with a minor in legal studies, and I'm also a CJ ambassador, which basically I represent the College of Criminal Justice and Criminology.
Hi, I'm
Joined
Nelsie.
by, yep, Nelsie, go ahead.
Hey, I'm Nelsie. I work at Career Services as a peer career advisor, which means I help you with your resumes, cover letters, mock interviews, personal statements. That wouldn't be me, but we help with that. And just other job-related things that would help you get the job. I'm also a criminal justice major, victim studies specifically, with a minor in human services, and I think I'm a senior. I have to check.
Let's hope so. Congratulations. Yeah, so hey, this show is for you as well. And so even though you see Neka and Nelsie interacting with me and with our guests, you have the opportunity to do so as well. Be part of the conversation, ask your questions, utilize your chat. So if you've got questions happening as this show is going on, please utilize that chat so that you can be part of the discussion today. Having said that, we're going to turn this over and focus on, what's our topic for today? Our topic of the day is what?
Beating the pandemic and getting a job in trying times.
Most definitely. I get so many questions from students recently wondering if it's even possible, or should they expect that they will be able to get a job during the pandemic. And to address that question, we have a very special guest today. Our very special guest is Nelsie.
The slide isn't up. Wajahat Khan, and you're a recent SAM grad, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I did my undergrad and my grad at Sam Houston. I started in 2015 and I graduated in the spring 2020. So in the midst of a pandemic, didn't even know what would happen. Everything kind of hit out of the blue. While at Sam Houston, I was also a CJ ambassador, so I kind of know how that feels, trying to put all those things together and be there for all those things. I know how all that I know how all that goes.
Right.
Fantastic.
So I do have a question for you. So you do have a job right now, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about the job and how you got it?
So currently I am employed with the Border Patrol. How I got the job is in itself a long process. When I first started out, once I graduated with my undergrad, I really didn't know what I was going to do. I had actually applied for a police department and I got rejected. So in the midst of that, I decided to go for my master's in Homeland Security. And from there, that started. And a year before I graduated, the Border Patrol opened up its position. The first time around, I actually failed the exam, so I had to wait a whole year to reapply. The second time I applied, I passed the exam and I moved on with the process. But also in the midst of that, I faced a lot of rejections. I think in fall 19, I traveled to the Dallas area, at least 8-9 times just for different job interviews, for different physicals or background checks, and I would either fail them or I wouldn't qualify enough. And the Border Patrol one was also going on at the same time. And in spring 20, the pandemic had already started. We were already online. I was in the midst of finishing my master's, and I was kind of freaking out because I had the Border Patrol going, and at the time I had Austin PD going, and Austin PD also rejected me. So all I had left was the 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 border patrol, and luckily I got employed on with them. And when people say that federal agencies aren't hiring, they're lying to you. The border patrol has a new application the first of every month for the position of an agent. If you're in your junior year, the FBI actually has their honors intern program. The application ends at the end of the month. So if you want to apply for that, you can apply for that. And that's in the summer, and that's a way in as well. So, and also the FBI is doing a collegiate hiring for initiative where if you're about to graduate in the spring, or if you've already graduated, you can apply for them. And of course, it's a long process, and you should never have your eggs in one bucket, but have them in multiple. So that way, if one fails, you still have a backup plan. So right now, I'm employed with the Border Patrol, and I'm waiting on my date to be shipped out there. When the pandemic hit, they closed down the academy, so that pushed me back a few months. So I'm just kind of in the waiting zone right now.
Yeah, talk about that waiting zone for a second, because, that might sound to some people like you're not actually employed yet and you're not actually on the payroll yet. So could you address that for a second?
Yeah, no, I'm still getting paid. I get paid my salary, which is a great benefit. I am personally grateful that I got in with a federal agency, just because of everything that's going on right now. And I'm grateful for that. And, during this time, because I have a payment I don't have to pay off my loans yet, but the fact is there's no interest right now. So I can just tackle that. And that's where the majority of my income goes to, is directly towards my loans. So I don't have any bills right now. I'm at home with my family just because of everything that's going on. So don't be afraid of applying to a federal agency. I mean, it's a great place to be.
Were you a first-gen student?
Yes, I was.
So how was that whole process like? Because, I'm first-gen also, and just having to, do all of this, go through graduation, go to applying to grad school, all those sorts of things. What was it like?
Being a first-gen student was very different. I had my family cheering me on, but at the same time, the field that I had picked isn't really a Middle Eastern field. The field for my culture is usually doctor, engineer, or lawyer. Those are your options. And me being out of the norm, a lot of family, cousins, would always be like, oh, you're not going to make it, you're brown, you're not going to get there, they're not going to want you, you're better off being a doctor or a lawyer or in that realm. But me being as hard-headed as I am, I was like, I'm going to prove you wrong one day. So every time I faced a no, there were multiple times where I broke down and cried. I mean, Carol's proof. So, I mean, there are multiple times where I was, I panicked, I broke down, but I kept on pushing forward, not because I wanted to prove them wrong, but also because this is what I wanted to do. Being first gen, I felt like there was pressure on me to prove others wrong in that sense, because nobody in my family has a master's besides me, or even a bachelor's besides me. So it was definitely different. It was all eyes were kind of honed in on me. What's he gonna do next?
So having gone through this process of you trying to get a job, are there any specific tips that you'd have for current students who are about to graduate?
Number one, patience. I learned that throughout the whole process. I mean, I started my Border Patrol application in, I want to say June or July of 2019. And I didn't get the job offer until April or May. April or May is when I got the job offer. And I mean, patience, that's the key thing. If you're involved in anything right now that does damage to you, i.e. you're involved with friends that do drugs, you're involved with friends that, excessively drink alcohol. I've been there, I've done that, I've had those friends, and I've had to cut them out just because they're toxic. I mean, before I graduated, so around 2019 in the fall, I started to reevaluate my life, and my social media was filled with people I didn't really ever talk to, and I knew a majority of them smoked weed. And if you're going to be in this field, it's federally illegal. Even though some states have said, okay, you can do it, the bottom line is it's illegal federal-wise. So you shouldn't really have friends that participate on that level. You really have to look out for yourself. I mean, at this point, it's about you. Forget about everybody else. You want to secure your future. And I mean, I deleted Instagram. I deleted Twitter. On Facebook, I cut down to like 40 friends because it's like I have to pick who's going to be in there, because whenever they do a background check on you, they're going to look at your Facebook. They're going to view your Instagram. They're going to view your Twitter. They're going to talk to your friends. They're going to ask your friends for some friends to talk about you with. They're going to go into the places you worked at. They're going to talk to everybody they can to figure out exactly who you are, who you hang out with, what you do, what don't you do. So on that process, you need to start working on yourself and making sure that you close those doors. And the other thing is fitness. I mean, if you're going to be in this field, you need to be physically fit. One of my buddies, he put me on a running plan, and it is the most horrific plan I have ever done in my life. But I mean, 3 weeks ago, I started my 1.5 time, trying to time that. It was around 14 minutes, and now it's down to 11.5 minutes. So really, you have to continually work on yourself. You have to be physically fit. You have to see who you hang out with. You have to pick and choose. You have to be really picky, and you're going to miss out on things that, your friends might be doing at times, but you need to improve on yourself and watch out for yourself. So those three are really the biggest things: is patience, figuring out who your true friends are, and working on yourself in the physical way or the mental way or whatever way you need to work on those things. And someone had once told me that, if you go see a counselor, you're not going to get the job because you'll be declared mentally ill or, not capable of having that mindset. And I can personally say, I've talked to many agents, I've talked to many recruiters, and they all say the same thing. We don't want a person who is afraid to go and get themselves checked and go and talk to somebody. So I went to counseling on my own, and I sorted through a lot of my issues, and that guided me to get better and make better for decisions about who I want in my life, who I don't want in my life. And yeah, that's the bulk of it. Sorry, I know that's a really long answer.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Waji. Again, that's part of the reason why, you were asked to be on the show. I'm going to ask you, when you look back now that you've gotten, through school, You're actually at a point where you know that you're employed. If you could look back and change anything, because we have students who are still in school at this point. So if you could look back and change anything, what would you change?
You know, that's a very important question. And the true answer is I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, I really wouldn't. Even though I would want to change things, I wouldn't want to change things, because if I change things, I don't know how I might end up. And I am where I am because of everything that happened to me. I am where I am because of all the mistakes I made, all the rejections I faced, all the emotional up and downs I had. I am where I am because of those things, and I'm better for it because of those things. So don't ever look back and beat yourself up on like, man, I wish I would have done other things. What you can't control the past. The past is what it is. I mean, you can't go back and rewrite it. What you can do is fix it for the future. You can focus on your future and you can make changes now. So, for example, I wish I hadn't hung out with all those people that I hung out with. Can I change it? No. Can I change the future? Yeah, I got rid of all of them. And in the long run, it's about what you did to improve on yourself, not what you could have done to improve on yourself. So really just focus on the future and focus on bettering yourself, really.
Okay, I got another question for you. You touched on the fear piece.
The what?
The fear piece. You know, a lot of students express fears, and you also touched on rejection.
Yeah.
And so, fear and rejection are things that can be very difficult for people to get over.
Yeah.
If some people get one rejection and that's as much as they can handle. I hear students tell me, maybe I should change my major from CJ because people don't want to hire CJ majors, or I heard that, you couldn't get hired, or they don't like this, or they don't like that. And so you experienced some rejection, you had some ideas of what you thought you wanted to do, and it didn't turn out that way. So what kept you in the game? What kept you in the game instead of quitting?
So rejections. I have a whole record sheet of where and when I got rejected, and the record sheet is about 65 long. Like, there are 65 rejections and like 2 or 3 acceptance. When I first came to Sam, I think I applied for the FBI like 6 or 7 times. And on my last try, I finally got the interview, and I still got rejected. But my thing was, they rejected me 7 times. On the 8th time, I got the interview. On the 9th time, I'm going to the polygraph. Like, I'm going to pass one more step ahead. But really, I mean, what kept me going was my inner drive. I mean, the music, I guess music as well. I listen to a lot of music, faith-based music, and in it, there's a lot of like, God's with me, God's not gonna abandon me, and kind of replaying that over and over again in my head. I mean, there were countless days where like I would hear music and like it would tell me that God has a plan for me. But when I would look at everything, I'd be like, God, I've faced like all these rejections. What do you mean you have a plan for me? So kind of like that, really kind of questioning everything, but still believing everything, kept me going. I mean, you were there in the spring and in the fall when I faced all those rejections, and really those panic attacks. I've had those panic attacks. I mean, when I when I first graduated with my undergrad, I applied for a police department. I got rejected. I had applied for the military due to my family issues. I had to pull out of that. I started my master's program, and I freaked out because on the first day I walked in, the paper that was due was 30 pages long, and I was like freaking out. I was like, wait, I'm sorry, 20 pages long still. I was freaking out. I was like, I'm not doing this. So I had actually dropped out of the program in spring 2018. Like, I had dropped it. I was like, I'm not doing this. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then once I had the spring and the summer to kind of think about everything, in the fall, I re-enrolled for my master's. And when it got time to spring 2019, I ran into that class again, and I freaked out again because I didn't want to do that paper. So I started applying to all these police departments, not really having my mind in the right place. I mean, I applied to 10 agencies all at once. If you've never done a personal history statement, 10 agencies is a lot of police departments. Those personal history statements are like 60 to 70 pages long. So what happened was I was trying to fill all those things out all at once, and I was crisscrossing all my information and getting everything wrong. And then I traveled up to Dallas once, and I failed an exam, and I withdrew all my applications. And back then, I didn't really realize the great effect that was going to have on my future, because now I have to add those 10 departments to my list, because for police departments, for every time you apply, you have to list the agency you applied for. So that's why when I say mine is like 60 long, it's because of the mistakes I made under stress, under panic mode. And I mean, I went on in the spring, and in the summer, I actually ended up taking that class because it was either I graduate in spring 2020 or fall 2020. And I was like, I'm not doing one more semester of this thing. I'm going to graduate in spring 2020. So I took that class in the summer, and I had to do the whole 14 weeks in 4 weeks. It was just me. And in there, and in that was actually group projects. So I made my dog my group partner, and I would like act as if my dog was typing and talking to me. So I got real creative. And like at the end of it, I got a B in the class. And I was like, if I would have just done the work in the first place, I would have been perfectly fine. I probably would have gotten an A, and I wouldn't have this rap sheet of panic attacks. And then when the fall came, that's kind of when I really started to focus on myself and really figure out who I am and where I have messed up. And you and I had extensive conversations of figuring out why I was saying things the way I was saying and why I was doing things that I was doing. And a lot of that had to do with counseling as well. I went to counseling every month, at least once a month, and figured out what was really going on in my head, why I was saying things and doing things that I was doing. And really, it was just panic. It was the nervousness. When I was younger, when I picked this field, one of my cousins had told me that if you want to be a police officer, if you want to be an agent, the only way they'll take you is if you have a clear rap sheet. They will never take you if you've done anything wrong. And even though I had forgotten about that, it still played in the back of my head. And I guess I never really forgave myself for that. And really, it was always the guilt trip of, why would anybody take me? Why would anybody take me? So for disclosure, in, 2013, I got arrested on like a Class B misdemeanor for theft at Walmart. Dumbest thing I ever did in my life. But it is what it is. It's a part of my past, and I accept it and I move on with it. I better myself with it. And now if anybody asks me about it, I'm like, I did it. It is what it is. You know, I did it. I paid my time. I paid my dues. And I've moved on from it. It no longer bothers me. No one can blackmail me about it. It doesn't mean anything to me. Sorry, I got off track. I don't remember the question.
Yeah, but actually you've answered the question that I asked Waji, because you know, I want the students to be able to understand that you don't have, you know, there are, number one, there are no perfect people. You may face some rejection trying to get that job, okay? But remember, our goal is to go out and do what?
Get
Get
the
a
job.
job. That's right. And so even if somebody rejected you, you don't give up.
No.
You still go out there and you do like Raji did. You go ahead and get the job. Go get it. Nobody can stop you from having a future but you. And so I want to really thank Waji for being willing to be a guest on our show today and to share a lot of his story with you, you know, because oftentimes we do get that impression that you have to be the perfect this and the perfect that, and students do beat themselves up a lot, or students believe the lies or the hype that you can't correct a mistake. You can't still have a life goal if you made certain mistakes. And so it's not something that everyone can talk about, but I certainly appreciate you being willing to come in and talk about it. Students, this is going to be your last chance. If you had any questions for Waji, it's like now or never. Use the chat. Yeah.
In reality, you're going to face a lot of rejections and a few acceptance. I mean, that's just the reality of it. That's what I experienced. I mean, I got tacked on for things I did in high school. And, you know, one thing I learned from all of this is go in with knowing who you are and what you've done. If you've done wrong in the past and you've paid your dues and you're better because of it, don't be afraid to admit it. It is what it is. It happened. If the company or whatever agency you go for hold you accountable for it still, they don't deserve you. You go for a different agency that's going to know your true worth, that's going to know who you are as a person now. We all make mistakes. Obviously, if you killed somebody, that's a little different. But if you hung around the wrong people, if you blacked out a few times, if you got drunk a lot, like, admit to those things and move on. I mean, just move on. Personally, when I was in college, I partied 3 to 4 times a week. I did it extensively. And I tell them those things. I'm like, that's who I used to be. I did those things. I learned my lesson. And here I am now. And I've moved on from it. Either you accept me or you reject me. If they reject me, I'm glad you rejected me because I wouldn't want to work here anyways. If you accept me, great. Let's move on. Let's better ourselves. Let's do everything we can.
Yeah, so thank you. Thank you again. Okay, students, that was your chance. If you had a question to ask Waji, to ask him, because, you know, we do have to go on with the show. The show must go on. Yeah. But I do, again, thank you very, very much. Wajahat Khan, stay in touch. Your career progresses. Who knows what you may be doing by the next time I call upon you. But thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. All right, it's time for the internship of the week. Take it over, why don't you, Neka Naji?
Yes, ma'am. So every week we bring different internship for you guys. And today we have the U.S. Department of State, which is hiring an intern for summer 2021. This internship is open to all majors. However, you have to be a U.S. citizen You could be an undergraduate or graduate student, it doesn't really matter, but you have to have a strong interest in U.S. Department of State. Now the application opened August 26th. However, it's still open until September 16th. So if you're interested, the link is down below. And again, this is an unpaid internship, so you don't get paid for it. But you have to be committed to interning with them for 10 weeks. And it requires about 32 to 40 hours per week for the internship. And again, if you're interested, just go to that link and apply.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. That's one that would look real good on the resume, by the way. We're going to move on into our next segment. And our next segment is a segment that we have a lot of fun with. Because this is where we play a game. And what's the game called?
Truth or myth.
Truth or myth. How do you play the truth or myth game? Well, I'm going to say a statement, and the statement is either going to be a truth or the statement is going to be a myth. Simple as that. You're going to put your answer down in the chat, and our first correct answer will win a fabulous prize. What's our fabulous prize?
A hot and cold tumbler cup. It's real cute. It says Sam Houston State University. And this nice little sticker, you can't really read it. It's hard. But it says criminal justice right here. Real cute. You can put it on your laptop, you know, make it all cute. You can put it on your water bottle. You got to stay hydrated. You can just put it just about anywhere, as long as it's not vandalism, you know.
Fantastic. Yes, so all of you get a chance to win that fabulous prize by telling us whether the following statement is a truth or a myth. Why don't you read that for us, Nika Naji?
Sure. So for networking, I should prepare an elevator speech, 30-second commercial, and memorize it. Truth or myth?
Truth or myth? All right, I got somebody already who's answered, believe it or not. And the person says that that is true. And so my co-host, are they hired or are they fired?
Fired.
Fired.
You're fired. I'm sorry, you're fired. That's an interesting answer, but did we have anybody else get into there? Well, we can't have the same person answer twice. Somebody else would have to get in there. And the next person that came in is Taylor Frick. Taylor Frick, is that the truth or a myth?
You put myth. Oh.
I thought we might hear Taylor Frick.
Sorry, I think Paola, I think she answered for it.
Yeah, I think Paola did answer first.
Oh yes, Paula, I'm sorry. We did get myth from Paola. Thank you, my second sets of eyes. So are you there, Paola?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you said it was what?
A myth.
Okay, any idea why it's a myth?
Maybe because you can't really prepare. It's kind of just something that you have to like talk about in the moment and kind of really like share it. With most things, it's not really something you can memorize and kind of have like a set kind of thing that works for all questions or anything like that.
Yes, you should have a 30-second commercial or an elevator speech. It's a type of introduction, and you do use it when you're networking, but it is better if it is not memorized, because then it comes off more natural, more conversational. So you should be familiar with the types of things you want to say about yourself in an introduction to a potential employer, but you don't want to come off like a robot and have it memorized. So we'd say in terms of hired or fired, is Paola hired or fired?
She's hired.
She's hired. Okay, and so congratulations. You're the winner of that awesome hot and cold cup and that sticker. You can pick it up at Career Services. Where is Career Services located, Nelsie?
It is located in Academic Building 4. So if you're in the quad area, the mall area, whatever you want to call it, if you're facing the LSC, you're looking the wrong way. It's behind the Lee Drain building. So if you don't know which one Lee Drain is, it's the one directly across from the LSC. And then on either side you walk on, like if you go the left way or the right way, but it's right behind the Lee Drain building. And then if you hit the Raven and then you look to the right, yes, right, it's that building there. It's tall, has some glass on it. The Honors College is here, the testing center is here.
Yeah. Okay, so bring your ID and you can come and pick up your wonderful prize. All right, moving on.
Sorry about that. Is there like a room number or anything?
Yeah, Suite 210.
Okay, thank you.
You're more than welcome. Looking forward to seeing you. It's time for faculty fun facts. What happens during faculty fun facts? We get to find out something about some of the faculty over here in criminal justice. Oftentimes if I ask students, hey, have you ever talked to any of your faculty members? A lot of students will tell me no. And we want to put an end to that. We want you to understand that your faculty are actually human beings, and we're going to introduce you to one today. Why don't you introduce her, please, Nelsie?
Today we're talking to the Associate Dean for Student Development, and her name is Dr. Danielle Bolbar.
Very good.
All right, there she is, live and in person.
And her
welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Yes, so you can, Dr. Boisvert, so it's very French. I'm French Canadian. I'm from Niagara Falls, Ontario, and I've been living in the United States since 1999. And I actually just became an American citizen this year in 2020.
Oh, wow.
Being a permanent resident, thank you, after 20 years. And I'm very excited for my first time to vote in November. It's going to be a big deal, big event. So just a little background about myself. I have an undergraduate degree in biology, and then I went on to get a master's degree in forensic science. And I was actually living in Washington, D.C. during September 11th. And so at the time, they were needing people to come and help work in a lab to help identify the victims of September 11th. And so I worked there for about a year, processing remains through mitochondrial DNA. And then I realized during that experience, while it was interesting, I was very bored in a lab. You don't talk to anybody, you know, except for your lab mates. It's very sterile, and it's the same thing day in, day out, day in, day out. And I was bored, and it just wasn't for me. I thought it would be, but it just wasn't. And so I didn't know what I was going to do, to be honest. I was thinking, should I go into business? You know, what am I going to do? So I moved back to Canada, and I ended up working in a dermatology lab. Don't ask me why. It was even worse. So I started to really think about what should I do with my life. And I knew I was very interested in biology, and I knew I was interested in forensics, and I was very interested in behavior. And, you know, why do people do the things that they do? And I started, you know, looking on the internet, and I found a researcher. His name is Dr. John Paul Wright at the University of Cincinnati. And he does research on biosocial. So he looks at how biology and the environment interact to predict criminal behaviors. And I thought, well, that makes sense. You know, that's something I want to do. So I applied to the University of Cincinnati, and I moved there in 2004. I packed up Ninny. Okay, Ninny's 20 years old, my cat. And so she and I moved to Cincinnati, and I obtained my PhD in criminal justice. There she is. And I was there for about 5 years. And after I graduated, I took a job at the at Penn State University in Harrisburg, and I worked there for 3 years as an assistant professor. And then I moved here in 2012 to work at the College of Criminal Justice here at SAM, because it's a nationally known program for criminal justice. This is the place to be. And so when they were looking for, when they were hiring, I applied. And my husband, you might know him as well. His name is Dr. Ryan Randa. He's 6'10". You can't miss him in the college. You know, he also got a job here at the same time. So we moved, we came here. We've been here ever since. We absolutely love it. We love Texas. We love Sam Houston. We love our life here. We have 2 children, Ruby and Ronnie. They are exhausting. And we like to just hang out outside. Pre-COVID, we like to go out to eat and go to the movies and things like that. So we love to travel. That's always been fun. But so right now we're doing nothing. And that's been fun. So that's a little bit about me. I'm happy to take any questions about careers and things to think about. I do have a piece of advice if you would like to hear it. Oh, I heard yes. Okay, so I think what you'll want to do is if you know, think about the career that you want and then work backwards, right? If you know you want to be an FBI agent, for example, then you have to go and look to see what are the requirements, what do I need to do, and work backwards in order to achieve that. And a lot of times it's about skills, right? You need to get certain skills while you're in university, not just go through the motions of finishing your coursework, but you need to be able to set yourself apart from other people who are also getting the same degree as you. And so that's through, you know, internships and part-time jobs and, you know, working with faculty. You know, if anything I just said about biosocial research was interesting to you, then, you know, perhaps we could talk about you being involved in a research project, because that's skills that you'll learn, right? It's research skills, it's stat skills, it's communication skills. Those are all things that people, when they're looking to hire, are looking for, right? So, so my advice is to work backwards, right? See what are the skills, what's the experience you need, and go get that. And then that way you're setting yourself up for a great career. And not everybody thinks about graduate school. And I just have to tell you, I have the world's best job, okay? I am a perpetual student. I started university and I never finished, and I never will until I retire, right? All I do is I learn and I teach, and I learn and I teach, and I do my research, and it's a wonderful job. So if you ever want to think about graduate school and getting a doctorate, I'd be happy to talk to you about that as a potential avenue as well.
They have some questions.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
You can go.
Okay. Okay, so I do have a question, Dr. Daniel. So I was just wondering if you could go into detail about what your job is as an associate dean for student development. Like, what do you do?
Right, so I pay very close attention to different student success metrics. So our enrollment rates, our retention, our time to graduation, our job placements, how are we doing? I deal a lot with the appeals and grievances by students. I look at the college level scheduling to make sure that the students are getting the courses that they need in order to progress in towards graduation. I work with our specialist, our retention specialist here in the college on different assessments, right? So speaking about skills, are the students getting the skills that we say that they should be getting? And so we assess that annually and put together reports to make sure you guys are getting everything that you need in order to be successful. So anything student related, student events, I work a lot with Carol and with Harriet on student events and with marketing. So a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm.
I think I also saw somewhere that you're a professor.
Yeah, so I teach. Yeah, so right now I'm teaching research methods online. Woo. That's the 3378 Writing Enhanced class that students for some reason don't want to take, and it's my favorite class. I love research methods. I think that sometimes people think it's more complicated than it is. It's not complicated, you know, it's just part of the process. And so I teach that to undergraduate students, and at the graduate level, I typically teach doctoral students how to teach. So it's a course on teaching effectiveness, so that when they go on to become professors. They have the tools and the skills to be effective instructors.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So do you only teach like basic CJ classes, or is it like victim studies?
So I have taught biosocial criminology, and I have co-taught behavioral genetics with faculty over in the Department of Forensic Science. So some cross-listed courses there where we team taught, actually, which was kind of neat.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we have any other questions for Dr. Boisvert? Sounds like we're watching a, you know how you watch Sherlock Holmes, or, you know, you got all the different names of the different characters. And so we have a character in our department called Dr. Boisvert. Aha, now we find out she's one of those sleuths who can look into what are the forensics telling us.
Right.
So, yes, so thank you so much. For
I actually have a question.
Yes.
Okay, what's the question?
Okay, my question is, in order for graduate school, like I know that I had heard somewhere, I don't know if it's true, that you at least have to have like a 3.0 GPA or a high GPA to get in. But what would you say for students that are looking to go into grad school? Like, say for myself, I've had to put myself through college and pay and work, so I've had a full-time job, and my grades are pretty good and not necessarily up to the graduate level that some people have said I've had to have. So what would you suggest, like, for my resume, my transcript?
It depends how far off from the 3.0 you are. Typically, it's an easy number that universities will say you need to have a 3.0, but I can tell you from experience, having sat on or being the chair of the Graduate Standards and Admissions Committee, we won't automatically disqualify an applicant who has a GPA lower than 3.0. I think the most important thing to do, if I were you, would be to contact the graduate program coordinator for the programs that you're applying to. I would just be honest. This is my GPA. This is my experience. This is, you know, perhaps why my GPA is lower. But again, the committee is going to look at you as a whole, right? And so experience will be important. They might ask you to take the GRE. Sometimes they'll waive it, but if somebody has a lower GPA, they'll ask you to take it. And so taking the graduate record exam, that would be important to be able to score well. And typically what committees are looking for there are your analytical skills and your writing ability. So that writing score that you'll get at the end. So I don't think it would automatically disqualify you if you're lower than a 3.0, but I would just recommend really exploring different types of programs out there and seeing what might be the best fit for you. Does that help?
Yes, that does help. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions for Dr. Boisvert? Going once, going twice.
There's one in the chat.
There's one in the chat. Dr. Danielle, you mentioned retention.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious if Sam's retention rate decreased compared to other institutions because of COVID.
That's a really good question, and that's data that we are looking at right now. I can tell you that enrollments for the College of Criminal Justice are actually up. We feared that they would be down this semester given COVID, but they've actually increased. So that's a good thing for us. At the university level, they're down a little bit, but not as much as we thought they would be. So compared to other institutions in Texas, that's the kind of data that we're gathering right now in order to see how we're doing relative to other institutions within our own system and then within, you know, the state of Texas. So we'll be able to answer that, I think, more appropriately, probably at the end of this semester.
Those were some pretty good questions, audience members. Do we have any others?
I also have another question.
Okay.
I was wondering, when you applied to grad school, are y'all looking at the person as an individual, what they have accomplished in their transcript and their resume and everything, or are y'all comparing the individuals to other individuals applying for grad school?
That's a really good question. So it depends what type of program you're applying to. If you're applying to one that is a research-focused program that has scholarships and assistantships, then you're going to be compared to other individuals because there's only a certain number of spots available, right? If you're applying to a more general Master of Science criminal justice program, then typically those don't have hard caps like the Masters of Arts programs that come with scholarships and assistantships. So So long-winded way of saying, most committees are going to look at the individual and try not to compare to the rest of the pool. Of course, sometimes it's, you can't avoid it, but that's why it's really important as an applicant that you put the things that make you stand out against others, right? Are you a first generation student? That's important. If you are, I would highlight that in my letter, right? So what are some things that you have done to improve over time? Another strategy could be, perhaps I have a low GPA, but if you look at my GPA just in criminal justice, you'll see it's this, as opposed to my overall GPA. And you can also perhaps show, my GPA has steadily increased over time, right? That'd be something that you'd want to highlight as well. So just think about how you can kind of sell yourself in terms of what you have to offer the program, and that, that they can take a chance on you by admitting you.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So like my GPA, like my overall GPA is a lot lower than like my CJ GPA, just because like CJ is what I like. CJ, like I'm genuinely interested. And so I don't do well with like science and math and stuff. So that's why it's low. So when I would be applying to grad school, I'd say, hey, my CJ GPA is this much because of my passion and my love for it.
Exactly. And remember, when you go to get a master's, it's just CJ at this point. You're getting a master's in CJ. You won't be taking electives in biology, and I mean, you can if you want to and get special approval, but that's not the program. So to be able to highlight, hey, look, I'm very strong in CJ, and now I want to narrow in even more on CJ by getting a master's and getting to that next level in this one area that I'm already good at. That's a good thing to highlight.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Also, what would you categorize the Masters of Science for Homeland Security?
That's a great program here at Sam Houston.
Yes.
Or just in general. Yeah, that's a great program, and it's offered online, and also they offer some classes face-to-face depending on need or student demand. So if I were you and you were interested in that, I would reach out to Vivian Carlson, and I can probably put her email in here for you, and talk to her about that program specifically, and about deadlines and different kind of strategies to apply.
Okay, thank you.
I'll get her email for you.
Fantastic. Are any more coming, or are we at that point? Okay, looks like we're moving on to the CJ Jobs of the Week. Take it away, Nika.
Yes, so for the job of the week, we have the U.S. Small Business Administration. They are hiring for the position of a paralegal specialist. They're located in Fort Worth, and it's a full-time job. Also, the application deadline is September 30th at 10:55 p.m. The pay scale and grade starts at GS 9 to 11, and the salary is about $57,000 up to $89,000 per year. And so if you're interested in filling out this application, again, the link is placed down below. So if you're interested in paralegal, you can just apply for that as well.
Yeah, anytime you see USA Jobs in the web address, you automatically know that's going to be a federal job. You have to be very particular in terms of how you apply, how you fill out the application, that you are hitting everything just as they are asking about it. We realize that, a lot of you all aren't going to even qualify for that job, but some of you may already be working for law offices if law is something that you're interested in. So I've had students who are already have their certification in paralegal. So if that's you, and you are looking, because if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw where this is possibly telework associated with this job as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am,
That
it
means
is. So it's
remote. So that's something else you might want to consider if you have the appropriate credential. If it sounds like something that you're not qualified for, but you may possibly be interested in that type of work, then you might want to consider a minor in legal studies, because I do believe that some of the work for getting certified as a paralegal, it can be an option in that program. So there's some food for thought on that one. And I think we have also another job of the week, because we know a lot of you might not be able to get that one. We try to offer something for everyone. We know that all of our students are not 18 years old, just out of high school. We have some very experienced students that attend SAM as well. So this job might fit one of those individuals. But now for the lesser experienced people, we have job of the week number 2. Take it away, Naja.
So number 2, the student assistant, basically SHSU Sam Center, they're hiring for the position of student assistant. As you can see, it's a part-time job. So like Miss she was saying, if you do not have so much experience, you basically can just apply for this job. They pay $8 per hour, so you get paid for it. And they tend to work with your schedule just because you're a student. If you're interested in applying for this job, just handshake.com and you're gonna see the job posted on it. And basically the application deadline is September 25th at 9 a.m. So I'll suggest you put your application in ASAP if you're interested.
Yeah, and before we stop talking about jobs, I just want to alert you, I'm going to touch on something. We'll talk about it on our next job show as well. But I want to touch on it today because the deadline is coming up at the end of the month. And that is for the Collegiate Hiring Initiative with the FBI. This is a job. So this is something that are for people who are about to graduate, might be interested in applying for this. If you're going to graduate anywhere between May 2019 and June 2021, you may be eligible to apply for this particular job. Or jobs, because they have a number of categories that they're hiring in: HR assistant, HR specialist, management and program analyst, management and program assistant, operational support, records conversion, security specialist, auditors, budget analyst, data analyst, equipment specialist, automotive, ET trainees, and IT specialists. So some of you who are doing the digital forensics studies, that may be something that you're interested in as well. But I wanted to throw that out there for you so you can be aware of it. Because if you apply for this job, a transcript is you're gonna have to provide a transcript. And so, you know, you want some lead time if you're gonna have to have a transcript. But you would apply at fbijobs.gov. And like I said, we'll mention that again on our next show, because we'll have the FBI on our next show. Okay, time for our next segment, and it is Job
Jeopardy.
Jeopardy, yes. For all of you audience members who didn't get a chance to win a prize the first time around, we're going to give you an opportunity to win a prize now. This game is played like the game Jeopardy on television. Of course, it's our own CJ spin to it. So that means I'm going to give you the answer to a question. And in order to win, you will have to put in the chat what the actual question was. So, so it's going to be a question that you put in for this game. And this is the answer. This tried and true method is probably the best way of landing a job. First person to get the correct answer in the chat, while I entertain you with the Jeopardy song. Our co-host is showing you the prize. The prize is a Bluetooth speaker. There she is demonstrating it for you. The light up on it. Yes, and we also have to go along with that Bluetooth speaker, our rapid guide to job hunting. So you would get both these items if you win. Okay, da na 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 da na 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 dun 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 dun. Okay, who can tell us what the question to that was? And I'm not seeing any takers in the chat. Does that mean nobody knows what a tried and true method of landing a job is? The best one, actually? I'll give you a hint. It's not usually the one students think of, but it is still the best. Okay, so it looks like we may not have a winner this week. Nobody's willing to take that one on, so we'll have to keep our Bluetooth speaker.
I think we might have a winner.
We do? Oh, wait a minute.
That's just me. I was taking a guess. I don't know the answer.
Faculty members are not able to win.
But I want that Bluetooth. Hurry, students, put that in there.
Okay, well,
All right.
excuse me. Since we didn't have any student takers and she really wants it and she agreed to be a guest, the correct answer is what is networking? So Danielle Boisvert, is she hired or fired, folks?
Hired.
Hired.
You're hired. All right, and so you can take a stroll over to Career Services or over to Harriet's office.
I would like to donate it to the first student who asked me a question.
Okay, fair enough.
And that, I think, was Lindsay Scherf.
It was.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
So Lindsay, you can come over to Career Services and pick up your prize.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to warn you guys for next time show, the next show we do, it's not going to go that easy. You can't count on that somebody's going to give you the answer to that and give you the prize as well. But we thank Danielle Boisvert for her generosity. And Lindsay, we thank you for the engaging discussion that you added to our show today.
Thank you. I still have a lot more questions, but for a later time.
Okay, well, you know, we'll be back again on September 23rd. And we can actually move on in our PowerPoint to talk about what our next show is going to be all about. Lindsay?
Yes?
I see where you're still on there. You weren't trying to ask a question right now, were you?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so bring your ID and Career Services, Suite 210. And be sure to join in next time, September 23rd, 2 p.m., when our topic will be what?
So you want to work for the FBI?
FBI.
Yes. How many students do I get that tell me that? So you want to work for the FBI? Waji was very helpful today in providing lots of information. Dr. Denham was very helpful, our first session about providing information. And so on our next show, we'll have our special guest, who's who, Neka?
Adam Heath, and he's an FBI analyst and an SHSU alum.
Yeah, so we have another Sam alum next week, rather on the 23rd. So think about what do you want to ask people who work for the FBI, and make sure you tune into that show. Tell your friends. If you got friend, we got probably half of CJ says they want to work for the FBI. So Tell your friends to tune in, and we will touch on that next time. In the meantime, we want to thank you. Check us out. These shows are re-aired, or you can pull them up on the CJ YouTube channel. In the meantime, we want to remind you that we're doing this because we want to claim that, what about the Bearcats?
Bearcats get hired.
Bearcats get hired. That's our claim to fame. We want everybody to know that Bearcats get hired. Tune in so we can help you do it. Until next time, everybody.
Bye.
Also, don't forget to put your SAM ID and full name into the chat so we can register that you were here.
Yeah, if you didn't put your name and ID in the chat, please do so. For all of the people saying thank you, you are more than welcome. Thank you for joining us. We include you as part of our team here. So thank you for being in the team and participating with the team.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you all for coming. Bye.
All right.
This now. Stop recording.
Write that name down.